And my topic of talking those to keep it hooked like dope. Apprenticeship so hard it needs censorship. Damn, God, you killing it.
What up though? I'm DJ Smithsonian and welcome to the library. Here we're going to discuss and explore how hip hop uses and manipulates language in all different ways, shapes, and forms. We're going to talk about everything from the bars, the punchlines, metaphors, double, triple entendres, to MC names, nicknames, where they got them from, and one of my favorite things to talk about, the beats. Because I'm a beat maker myself. You see me with my MPC. So a lot of times we're going to talk about the beats and how even the beats themselves are a manipulation in language in a way. So this is brought to you by the Appraise The Phrase podcast, as well as the Black RoboCop Foundation, which is a for-profit organization making sure that no jaw, pair of socks, or party goes unrocked. Here we go. So this is the pilot. This is our first episode. And we're going to dig right into the beats with the first episode. Because a lot of hip hop producers, not only do they sample drum breaks or instrumentals or, you know, maybe a single horn or other instrument chops, they also chop the vocals. And that's one of the coolest ways, in my opinion, that we can use hip hop and use language in hip hop to make something that somebody said, flip it, chop it, and make it look like something else. So what we're going to explore today is one of my favorite samples. I don't know if you're familiar with a man by the name of Al Cooper, but in 1970, he wrote a song called The Love Theme that ended up on the soundtrack of a movie called The Landlord. I just now find this out, but in 1970, he made this cut. Let me see if you remember it. You ever heard this?
Let him hold you, let him touch you, soon you'll understand.
That should be a little familiar, right? But let's say it ain't. I got something for you. How about we speed it up just a little bit to about, let me see. I got my notes in my notebook because I ain't memorizing shit for y'all yet. I ain't getting paid for this, but I'm getting paid for this. What about now?
Let him hold you, let him touch you, soon you'll understand.
This song was sampled by two of the premier hip hop beat makers and producers of our generation, both Just Blaze and the Alchemist, in two different tracks. So let's deconstruct them real quick. So Al Cooper's Love Theme, if you listen to the whole song, it sounds a lot like a song about young love, because it's talking about this young man who finds this young woman and he's singing to her, like, let him touch you and soon you'll become a woman, soon he'll become a man. So it sounds like a coming of age, a teenage love, if you will. But when it got flipped by Just Blaze, and then Jay-Z spit on it on the track Soon You'll Understand, that's on the Dynasty album, it had a little bit of a different kick to it. So I'll just start off the beginning. You remember this?
You heard? You understand soon enough. Soon enough. You're my best friend's sister, grown woman and all. You see I am around girls, I ruin them all.
So in that song, the first two verses are dedicated to kind of a young love. He's talking to his best friend's his best friend's sister, who becomes his girlfriend, because he's telling her, like, hey, I've known you since we were young. I ain't shit, but you want to get with me anyway. So he kind of flipped that, he'll become a man, soon you'll become a woman type of deal, and talks about like these two people as they're growing up together. And the conundrum that happens, because Jay-Z's song is about love, but it's also a lot about heartbreak, because in the first two verses, like he's kind of pleading to this woman, like, I told you to leave, I told you I wasn't ready, and she was infatuated with him because, I mean, you know, that's her older brother's best friend, and now, you know, she's in a situation where, you know, he's got a baby on her, he's always cheating, he'll never be faithful, and all of that. So it's kind of a dark song, and not as happy as, you know, maybe Al Cooper's song. I still got to check this movie out. I got to see what scene they used it in. I ain't never heard of The Landlord yet, you know, until I started looking into this. So now I got to find it on streaming somewhere. Also, the third verse, Jay-Z is talking to his mom, because, you know, it's from the perspective of a hustler kind of talking to his mom, asking her for help because now he's in jail. And how he just kind of wanted to help out because he's seen her struggling. And then it's, you know, along the lines of that, soon you'll understand, that gets flipped several times in the song, because Just Blaze, for the most part, like kind of took the break and then, you know, kind of interpolated and inserted that soon you'll understand intermittently throughout the beat as Jay-Z starts talking, especially during the hooks. So, you know, a lot of the hooks, Jay-Z goes from rapping to just kind of talking to these women, and, you know, it's kind of like, soon you'll understand, you know, like why I am the way that I am, even though I tried to tell you, which I thought was like really dope. One of my favorite songs to this day, because, I mean, you know, Dynasty dropped in like 2000. I'm a young teenager myself. I wasn't really playing it too nice to the women ladies. I mean, you know, I had like a main squeeze, but, you know, I was also, you know, kind of feeling myself. I'm learning about myself. And I was definitely looking at options in other places. So, you know, that second verse from Jay-Z's song, like, I told you from the jump, I ain't shit. I used that a couple times in college. I ain't even gonna lie. But let's get to The Alchemist. So The Alchemist, even though he flipped the same sample, like, he did it a different way. And how he did it, what I love about it is the fact that he makes it sound like something else. So maybe you've heard this track.
Stupid shit. Hey yo, it's like this, man. Hey yo. When it come to text, I'm similar to a menace, but oh.
So Hold You Down, off of The Alchemist first Infantry album. It features Nina Sky, Prodigy, and Illa, and everybody. I mean, everybody's got bars. It's an amazing track. Came out in 2004. Another one of those tracks that I listened to heavy as a teenager. Now at this point, late teen, like I'm in college. I'm on the radio. And this is one of them songs that I'm like throwing in because like I called myself true to the underground. So even though I'm playing like, you know, like a lot of the hits, I'm still weaving in, you know, backpack rap or whatever you wanted to call it back then, because I didn't want to lose sight of that while I was DJing in the midst of the Southern takeover. You know what I'm saying? If you remember 2004, 2005, you know all about the Southern takeover. But like what made this so dope, so they kind of took it a different way. Like it's a love song, but it's not a love song because it's more of like a love for my crew song. So it's like, I'm going to hold you down. So he takes the hold you from the let him hold you, but then he mixes it with something else. I can't tell what particular part of it is, but how he warps it, it almost sounds like this, like he's saying down. And Al Cooper doesn't say down anywhere in the damn song. Like I looked up the lyrics. I listened to this thing like 15 times. So, I mean, it just goes to how dope of a producer he is because he makes you think, like it's called Hold You Down. You know, you kind of get that audio response like, oh, he's saying down. And then how he flips it is that throughout a lot of the different verses, he's talking like they use down at the end of the bar. So, you know, Prodigy gets the spitting, you know, Illa gets the spitting, Alchemist gets the spitting. And at each point in time, they all end their bar with down, but they don't say down. Instead, they let that part of the sample bring back in. And I mean, that's just one of the dopest things that's about hip hop and all of that. So in a quick minute, Like we went from, some obscure song that was on a soundtrack to a movie that I never knew of as a DJ to, two of my favorite songs. And now we have, like two different producers sampling it in two different ways, which is dope. I highly recommend you listen to both the remix, the sample songs, if you will, as well as the original. Check it out, kind of compare how they did it. But hey, I'm Smithsonian DJ, the DJ Smithsonian, and this is the pilot episode of The Library. I'm going to get to talking shit on this motherfucker. I hope you like it. We're going to send this to the crew so they can chop it up, piece it up. Let's go. I'm out. Peace.